Guys, the UFC's first pay-per-view of the year is going down this week, and with Glover Teixeira taking on Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight strap. If that's not enough to get your blood pumping, DraftKings, today's show sponsor, is giving all new customers a great offer. All new customers, sign up for DraftKings using my promo code SONNEN. Bet at least $5 on any UFC 283 fight, and you're going to get an additional $200 in free bets instantly. Yep, that's right. New customers bet $5 on any fight of your choosing, and you will get $200 in bonus bets put into your account instantly. If you didn't know, DraftKings Sportsbook is the only sportsbook where you can combine multiple bets from the same fight for even bigger winnings. If mobile sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still get in on the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use the promo code SONNEN. Bet $5 on any UFC 283 fight and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Boy, I like Glover. Glover Teixeira. Not just I admire him as a fighter. Not just I recognize how great he is. I really like him. I liked Glover before I ever got to know Glover. He's one of those guys. One of those guys where I read about him and then go, hey, I want to meet this guy. How do I meet this guy? I never did. Never crossed paths. He came out to Oregon, in fact. We used to have something called Sport Fight. And he came out and did Sport Fight, maybe multiple times. But I was going to get to meet him. Matt Lindland was putting these on. I either went to every sport fight, I competed on the sport fight, or I participated in it. I've been the announcer before. So I'm going to get to meet Glover. And this is the guy I've been reading about. This is Chuck Liddell's top protege. Coach John Hackelman's guy. That Brazilian guy has won like 19 in a row. Who I watched doing videos of like CrossFit style workouts, even before CrossFit was the thing. Where you went over and you did a rope, and then you did 20 pull-ups real fast, and then you did some burpees and some squats and some push-ups, and you jump back up and you do the whole thing again, right? CrossFit. But before that was a thing, I'm watching Glover doing, I mean, that's just a really hard workout. That's a really interesting workout. He got known for his cardio. Something happened with paperwork. I've never understood that, because I've heard it different ways. I've even told it different ways. But it had something to do with Glover couldn't get into the UFC. It was a paperwork issue. It had something to do with a visa. I mean, we've been told this story 100 times, and it's always the same thing. But he was in America, and he was fighting in America, so I just never understood it. There's a paperwork or visa issue in America, so we can't go fight for a company located out of Nevada, but he can come to Portland, Oregon, and do a sport fight. I mean, right, obviously, there's something that I'm missing there. I'm attempting to tell you his story because this was a good 10 or 15 years before I ever actually met him. So I'm just proving the point that I am an admirer. I am a fan. Then when I got to meet him, he was just as cool as I thought he'd be. Welcomed me into his gym, and he was a hard worker, and he had this awesome attitude, and he was a natural leader. I mean, like, I would just have to keep on putting the heaping amounts of praise on Glover. Then what he was able to do later in his career, nobody saw that coming. Like, your best days aren't after you turn 40. It just doesn't work that way. But his were. He got a world title fight very quick. I mean, his opening match in the UFC was against Rampage Jackson, who was a world champion, former. He built right into a match with Jon Jones. Now, that didn't work out, and it's pretty clear he's never going to get an opportunity again. Well, he somehow finds a way. North of 40, he stayed after it. He would not take no for an answer. He stayed persistent. He believed in himself. He fought anybody. Came back, found ways to win, carried himself, got up off the canvas before, and came all the way back. Not only to championship opportunities, but to the championship, which he lost, and now he's got to start over again. That's not going to work. There's not very many guys in their 30s that can stumble and ever get back. He stumbled, got back, stumbled, and is back again. This is an incredible sports story. And I would very much like to do things the way he would like them done. That's out of respect. Glover wants to train at 9 a.m. and I'm his workout partner. I'll be there at 9 a.m. Just by example. Like to do it the way that he would like to do it. Glover came out and he said that he wishes the fans would care more about the fighting than they would about the talking. And I want to do things Glover's way, but if I give him that one, problem. If I give Glover that point, that we're going to put the focus on the fighting and not about the talking. How do I let you guys know he's fighting Saturday? How do I let you know it's a world title fight? How do I let you know that it's in Brazil? How do I let you know it's against the number 7 guy in the world that was never supposed to be here in the first place? And Uncle I and Blachowicz had this big blow up and Joe Rogan got stuck in the middle of it and it was goddamn good TV. But how do I do that? And then moreover, if the fans are going to care about the fight, do you want to live in a society like that? Where the fans are going to care more about the fighting than they do the talking. Do you want to live in a society like that? Because what part about that fight is it that you want the fans to like? Is it the way you elbowed the guy or broke his nose, or is it the way you elbowed him this way and you knocked all of his teeth out? Like, what part of that do you want the fan to think was cool? Is it how you hit him in the chest and stepped outside with a leg kick that is said to be harder as a baseball bat being swung at full force? I mean, do you really want the crowd into that? Is that what we're doing here? Do you have a punch or a kick or a submission that I haven't seen 100 times before? Do you have something special? Are you going to run up the fence and jump off at Pettis style? Are you going to make something up that's dynamic that I haven't seen before? Or is it going to be rinse and repeat? You're going to close your hands and move them in a forward direction while trying to get out of the way of the guy doing the same thing back to you, which is what they did the co-main event, the previous match, and the 9 other before, including the one that jerked the curtain at the beginning of the night. I mean, it sounds like the same thing. So why would I be watching your match? Do you do something different with your punches and your kicks than the 10 other fights that were up tonight? If you don't, why am I watching you? Or moreover, if you do, why did I watch those 10? There has to be a reason. There has to be an answer. You will walk to the cage one time. One time. But you will be asked to do countless interviews. You'll be asked to take to social media countless amount of times. On fight week alone, you will have a press conference, a scrum, a weigh-in, and then a makeshift weigh-in. If the fighting is the most important thing, why is that the one that we're doing the least? If the talk and the drama and the build and the hype and the reason that we're here are least important, why is there so many interviews? Why was there so many articles? Why was there so many reporters at the press conference? Why did I have a scrum? Why was I on conference calls? If I'm going to focus on the fighting, are you going to show me something that I haven't seen before? What is it about the fight that's interesting? That you're good at it? Well, yeah, I kind of assumed all these guys were. The championship's up for grabs. I mean, where do we go? What do I do? What do I tell the guys? If I want you to watch Glover and Hill this weekend, I feel as though when I come here, which is only going to be talking, I got to tell you something. But I really need you to remember it. I don't need you to remember the punch. I don't need you to remember the sequence. I don't need you to remember what it is that got either guy here. I don't need you to remember a guillotine and a double leg. I need you to remember that it's Saturday. I need you to remember it's on ESPN Plus. I remember that it's on pay-per-view. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 in the West. There's things that I need you to know that have nothing to do with the fight. But I've got a fighter who's telling me the only thing he wants you to know about is the fight. If I do it his way, you don't watch. If you don't watch, you can't then care about the contest because you didn't see it in the first place. I want to do it his way. I respect him. But sometimes helping a guy is not always giving him what he wants. Sometimes instead you got to give him what he needs. And if Glover would like credit or recognition or money or even to be remembered for a world title fight that he is going to have this Saturday on ESPN opposite Jamal Hill, he's first going to need you to watch.